I was born in Seoul, Korea in 1967. I moved to US, Los Angeles from Korea back in 1983. I was just in junior in high school. The reason why we moved to United States, it's because of our education. My parents had 3 siblings, including me. So I had an older sister and a younger brother. My parents were looking at sending all 3 of us to college. Unlike in US, Korea is a private institution. Sending 3 kids to college meant a lot of money. Many of the Korean people at that time would love to come to US to get educated. So my parents actually made quite a bit of sacrifice. The process was not an easy process to follow through. Number one, there was a lot of, things that my parents had to give up. Invitation had to come through my mom's sister, my aunt. It took about 10 years to go through the whole visa process to finally get an approval. So you could only imagine 10 years. There are a lot of things that change over the course of that time. So it was a very tough decision. When we got the visa approved, my sister did not want to come. My parents were thinking, okay, we're established in Korea. Do we give up and start from the bottom up? My parents made a tough decision saying, hey, we decided to do this, so we're going to follow through. And I'm forever grateful to my parents, who made that tough choice. And that's how we got to US. My hometown is Los Angeles. I've been to United States now 30 some years. I still carry the heritage and my nationalism, but I came to United States, got married, started the family, and my career has spent working in US. So to me, US became my home. I am very much a Korean inside, but when I go outside working, interacting people, my life has been very much, Americanized. But then when I go home, spending time with my parents and my siblings, and even my nieces and nephews, there's so many things we do that is defying Koreanism. We still speak Korean. We still eat Korean food. We still talk about Korean holidays. So many of the things that we do is kind of stuck in the middle. So therefore, I call myself a 1.5 generation Korean American. For the longest time, my parents wanted all of their children to be more Americanized. Because we came to US as an immigrant, such a late stage in our life, me being in high school, my sister being in college, my brother at that time was just entering middle school. We're such a latecomers to US. So, they knew how difficult it was for us to go ahead and integrate it to the, society as a, full US citizen. So we were always asked to go ahead and, try to assimilate and try to, get yourself more exposed to English speaking. And I took that to the heart. So obviously, I tried very, very hard to go ahead and adapt to this new lifestyle, including the language. I also, decided to pretty much stay away from Koreatown. And I didn't really know Koreatown until I actually got a job in Koreatown and started to interact and see how much Koreatown has, developed. And once I got to know the Koreatown, I just totally fell in love with it. Right now, I'm actually at a law firm. I'm the Director of Diversity and Business Development for Lewis Brisbois, but I also serve a board member and president for various different nonprofit organizations. So in a way, I serve full spectrum from private sector to public sector. Like many Korean people have done, they moved out of Koreatown, went into suburb, where I felt like, hey, I'm going into a safe neighborhood for my family. Now that I'm coming back to Koreatown because of the work or community engagement, I am just in love with the Koreatown. This really gives us such a foundation for, not just Korean American. I'm talking about diverse community. This is how the community should work. We have a big portion of a Korean American, big portion of a Latino population, specifically Central Americans. For the longest time, there were divisions, right? We call LA riot, but you come to Koreatown and realizing, God, everybody's living in harmony. I mean, not to say that, everything's perfect. We do have a problem with the public safety, theft issue, all that still going on. But what town does not have all those issues? Despite all of that, look what Koreatown has done. It's done a tremendous job bringing, commerce back to the town. And I dare to say, Los Angeles, hey, Koreatown is your backbone who's producing all these economic revitalization, especially after COVID. The generation gap is the biggest problem. One of the biggest problem in Korean American community. Heritage, yeah, definitely. I mean, take an example of my family. My family used to get together for all kinds of different, Korean holidays. We basically had to trim it down because, all of us are settled in LA, got married, had children, keeping up with the US holidays and combining with the, Korean holidays. It was just too much. So what do? We basically had to let go of our Korean holidays. So therefore, when you have a less opportunity to go ahead and celebrate Korean holidays, that's a loss of heritage. And how often do you get to go to Korea? Not that many times because our schedule's so tight. School, work, and all that kind of stuff. The only exposure will be through Koreatown. But even Koreatown, as the kids are, becoming more immersed with the mainstream, they like to detach themselves with the, heritage or family, things that they've been doing. We're definitely losing it, and including myself. In my opinion, Koreatown community organizations are doing actually an excellent job. It's just that you have to get the community to get a little bit more involved in it. We have a lot of events. I mean, the April 29th LA riot, we still didn't forget. And various different organizations continue to go ahead and, do an event to basically educate. But there are a lot of young generation, they may not even remember what LA riot was all about. But the Koreatown, if you go to any given, community-based organization, they actually do a really good job. The only problem we're having is how do we attract the younger generation to get engaged with the Koreatown? Because I myself was not engaged when I was your age. So it's kind of tough for me to go, hey, this is a good thing. You should really get engaged and, continue to build relationship. 1.5 generation will hold the fort until you guys are ready to come back and engage with the Koreatown and Korean American community. For future, I'd like to continue to go ahead and keep the Koreatown the way it is. It's such a unique place. As far as the losing heritage, as much as I feel sad and I don't like to see it, it's inevitable. We're living in US. So it's a very unique positioning that Koreatown has. So I just hope that we could continue to grow as a Koreatown, retaining the heritage and all the culture, but still being able to go ahead and, integrate with the mainstream, kind of like what Japanese American community has done so, right? So that's my only wish. My name is Janet Burt, and this is my Korean American story.